Mattel Napper, repairing the voice box. We've taken the voice box out of the toy fur cover. You need to carefully undo the stitching and remove the foam covering. Here I'm splitting the plastic voice box apart. This is really quite an intricate job. You have to be really careful not to crack the casing. So what I was doing is I was alternately using a prying device when I could get under it at the very beginning to start it, and then I'm going around with the Stanley knife, pushing it into the seam because this thing is glued all the way around. And you can actually get the thing apart if you're really careful. The problem with the voice box is that this little spigot that you see on the bottom of this part here, it's splayed, so that when it sits inside the slot in the cam with the gear teeth on it, it slides backwards and forwards, but it shouldn't come out of the slot. And what's actually happened is over time is this little splayed end has worn down and it slips out of the slot and the thing doesn't work anymore. So what I've done is I'm using a crosshead screwdriver and pushed down into the depression in the end of the spigot, and I've actually splayed it apart by pushing down firmly and twisting. You'll probably need to use a fairly wide Phillips screwdriver for that. Here I'm showing that if when you take this thing apart, the little brake device, small part that you see just down there on the side, can come dislodged from the spring. And what I've done is I'm showing you that you can replace that in the way that I'm showing here, pushing down on it, engaging it with the spring and pushing down and then twisting so that the spring coils and tightens and then clips into place. A little bit intricate, you might need to figure out a couple of times how to do that. You've now got to replace the ball chain. This is a little bit of an intricate little thing. It's quite difficult to handle. So it took me a couple of times before I could get this. I found that the thing works best with a couple of the balls into the slot of the cam. So it's either one ball or two ball, but I think it probably needs to be two balls there. It can become dislodged from the handle end, and then you just need to put it back at that end. And here you see that how the cam works. It pushes forward under the spring, which I'm attaching here. And then when you press the handle, you can see that the cam moves backwards and forwards. The spring needs to be clipped over and clipped onto the pillar. And there you see all the parts in place correctly as they should be. And this should now work when things put back together again. Here I show you all the different parts, and in particular the speaker is the membrane underneath this device here. So anyway, here we go, putting it back together again. It's actually not too difficult to clip this back together again. It won't stay together inside the toy. Here I'm depressing the little needle. The red lever has got the needle just like a record player on it, and it couples the sound vibrations to that pink, that orange device just in the middle of the speaker there, and the speaker's on the spring so it can move up and down with the movement of the record player. So clipping this all back together again, everything should now work properly.
You're so good, Kitten. You're so good, Kitten. My name is Napper.
And that's really cute. Now we need to sellotape the parts together. I'm using a fairly good 3M thin paper sellotape. Getting this thing back into the foam holder, just have to notice the orientation of it, and it goes in really pretty easily. Get it the right way around as I show here. See how that foam is nicely put together, and once that's inside the fur toy, it's very secure in there, nicely padded, and it gives a really really strong and robust construction for playing with the toy. Pushing it back carefully into the fur, trying not to tear the fur up, and once that's in, just make sure it's aligned so that the handle is nicely perpendicular to the head, and the handle for pushing is just under that patch, and sew it up neatly.
You're so good to me.
And there you are. Have fun.